Hello and welcome to the Line of Scrimmage DFS Cash Game Show with a little GPP and a little ownership percentage sprinkled in. Week 8 of the NFL season. We're here with the big man, the scholar, John Laub, and the old man, Emil Kadlec. John, how are you today? How was your day?
I'm doing good. We had some news. We now know that Aaron Jones is not playing for the Packers, so that changed some of my lineups, how I was thinking. And I think it's looking very, very unlikely that Chris Carson or Carlos Hyde play for the Seahawks. So I have some options here for you. Been on top of the news the entire day, and I'm ready to help you put together good cash game lineups.
Excellent. All right, let's go to the first slide.
All right, Emil, anyone who watches our show knows that I like to begin with the scholar sleepers. Usually I give everyone 3, but today I felt that I have to give a 4th one because of what's likely to occur in Seattle. So I got 4 sleepers. Now, I usually start at the low end at quarterback, but I actually think Emil, he is playing so well. I think we now have to consider Justin Herbert among the elite.
Whoa.
If you look at the last 5 weeks in fantasy football, or the 4 weeks, last 4 weeks, Justin Herbert is the 5th most productive fantasy football quarterback. Let me repeat this. 5th most productive. He has scored 88 points among quarterbacks. 901 yards passing. He has a little bit of mobility. He's an underrated athlete. We've talked about this in the past. 88 yards rushing. Emil, the most incredible statistic to me. He has a 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Let me repeat that. 10-to-1 interception to touchdown to interception ratio for a rookie. That is just absolutely incredible. He also has a rushing touchdown. In the last month, the only quarterbacks ahead of him, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, the veteran future Hall of Famer Tom Brady, and Carson Wentz. And there is Justin Herbert ahead of Patrick Mahomes, Ryan Tannehill, and ahead of Russell Wilson. Now, in the season long, Herbert is number 17. But remember, he didn't play right away.
Yeah.
You know what's the most funny thing about this whole story? And I like Anthony Lynn. But Anthony Lynn had no intention of playing Justin Herbert. It's because his quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, a doctor put the needle in wrong, and Justin Herbert had to start the game against Kansas City. I mean, think about it. It wasn't because Anthony Lynn had seen this excellence or thought he deserved to be on the field. It was because of a trainer's mistake that we have gotten to see the brilliance of Justin Herbert. I mean, it's completely by kind of accident. Now,
let's also say a lot of times a coach wants to be a little careful with the rookie. I don't think there's a concern that he's gonna get fired for not losing this year for the Chargers. So it's possible that he wanted to make sure and give Herbert some time in the first few games and let the experienced player, play for a few weeks. But it is still incredible how well Herbert played. I'm just postulating that if you throw the rookie out too early and he fumbles and he doesn't do well, he fails, then you got a problem with the psychology of the game. So it's kind of nice to let the pro out there for a while and get this guy used to going to NFL cities, used to preparing while he sits on the bench and does backup work. But that's just a postulation. I could be wrong.
Well, I think you're right in why he wasn't going to play him. That's kind of been the NFL narrative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't rush the rookie in. But, man, regardless of why Anthony Lynn didn't play it, he's just simply amazing. And, I mean, as a football fan, we just got lucky. We get to see this brilliance when no one – it's incredible. I mean, look at these last 3 games, Emil. 41 points on DraftKings, 27 and 24. He's now, to me, unless we have back-to-back poor performances, but he is in that Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers bucket right now. He is producing at a phenomenal rate. And I've watched his last 2 games. Remember, he was on that Thursday night game. Was it like 2.5 weeks ago? And then last week, the game I was watching it. He's incredible with the football. And the numbers bear it out. I mean, people, he's a must start now. I have him in 2 season-long leagues. I'm playing him. I benched Cam Newton last week and played Justin Herbert.
That turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I got, sometimes it works out. Hey, I've had lots of flops in my 32 years, but that one worked out. And, I played him on that Thursday night game also. So Justin Herbert, to me, he's on the scholars list. Now, he is a little bit cheaper when you look at the price. Mahomes, 8,100. Russell Wilson, 7,800. Aaron Rodgers, 7,600. Lamar Jackson, 74. Even Josh Allen is 7,000. So Justin Herbert is the 7th most expensive quarterback on the list, and he's performing as a top 5 quarterback. So you can use him here. I like him an absolute ton. And there's no logical reason for this. We know Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We absolutely know that he's the starter in Kansas City. But, Emil, the NFL is a game of passion, emotion, and feelings. And I believe that Andy Reid and this Kansas City Chiefs offense, they want to have Le'Veon Bell prove to Adam Gase that the Jets made a huge, huge mistake. I don't see any way this young man doesn't score a touchdown. I heard you earlier today with Jen Ryan, and wasn't it like plus 800 for Le'Veon Bell to do 2 touchdowns?
That's a lot.
I think there's a chance, and I like that bet a lot. I think Jen was right. I think there's a really good chance that Le'Veon Bell scores 2 touchdowns. I almost guarantee 1. The game script says that because they're 19-point favorites last I looked, the Chiefs should be blowing them out in the 3rd quarter. Well, what do you do at that point if you're a coach? You go, Le'Veon, the game is yours. The game is yours. Run, 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 and do whatever you want, young man. It is a passion, emotional game. This is an emotional call. He's $4,600. The Chiefs are human beings. The team is made of a passionate group of men. If you and I know what happened to Le'Veon Bell in New York, you know the Chiefs do. And it's interesting, when you follow Patrick Mahomes on Twitter and you listen to him, he's kind of aware of things socially. Patrick Mahomes is an interesting guy. So I believe that Patrick Mahomes knows what happened in New York. I think Patrick Mahomes here gets Le'Veon Bell his touchdowns, his receptions, and his yards. For $4,600, I absolutely love it. I mean, Emil, we only need 15 points. And I think it's a lock for a touchdown. He's probably going to get 50 yards. That's 11 points. 4 receptions for 30 yards. There you got 17 points. You have over your 3 times investment. Love Le'Veon Bell here. The other player, I don't see how Chris Carson plays. The reports say that he's not going to play. Pete Carroll is like a little bit like Bill Belichick. He's most likely not going to play, and there's no reason really in this game to play him. Carlos Hyde doesn't look like he's going to play right now. Last week I identified Jamal Williams on Saturday night, and then we found out that Aaron Jones was inactive. I'm going to take the same leap here. I believe that Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson are not going to play. DJ Dallas is in one of my lineups right now on footballdiehards.com. Emil, 5'10", 214 pounds. He packs a punch. He hits people. Now, I'm not going to tell you he's in the Marshawn Lynch level or even the Chris Carson level. But when I watched him at the University of Miami, you could see the way he plays with passion. He lowers his shoulders and he hits people. He has certain traits that Brian Schottenheimer, as well as Pete Carroll, like in their running backs. What makes him more interesting is he's a very good pass catcher. I think for the bare minimum price, DJ Dallas is clearly the player. Sorry, someone just came to our door.
I think the dog likes your pick. That's good. Them dogs are barking. Oh, by the way, it is a bit of a leap of faith because the Seattle's playing at home against San Francisco in the late game. So you're going to have to make that choice without any data before the games start.
Yes, I mean, now Travis Homer, that's always an option, but I think we're going to know. And remember, you do have late swap. So there are opportunities here that we could swap in a receiver like Kendrick Bourne. DJ Dallas, I would recommend that he goes into your utility. So if he doesn't go, you can make a late swap on DraftKings, and you could put in a Kendrick Bourne, or you could put in another wide receiver, or maybe even a Travis Homer. So to me, the odds of both Hyde and Chris Carson playing are almost nothing. I think both won't play. So we're going to see. I like the value here. We're talking about a bare minimum price running back in an explosive offense at home against the defense that is nowhere near as good as last year. Too many injuries. I give the 49ers credit. They're playing hard, but the talent is not there. So I like DJ Dallas, and all we need, Emil, is 12 points. 12 points. If he gets 4 receptions for 30 yards, that's 7. We need 50 yards rushing, and you make your 3 times salary on DJ Dallas. So I like that value here for $4,000. And then my last scholar sleeper. I don't know if everyone's been noticing this. I don't know if people are watching. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor and Phillip Rivers are the two guys who we focus on. And then you have T.Y. Hilton, Zach Pascal. We've gone with Trey Burton. There's been a lot of different tight ends. But if you have been paying more close attention, Marcus Johnson had a very good game last week. And then I looked at our snaps. Let me get here. Our snap count on footballdiehards.com. And actually, it was 2 weeks ago. So let me go to week 6 here. When you look at Marcus Johnson 2 weeks ago against Indianapolis, he played 63% of the snaps, and he had 8 targets for 19 points, Marcus Johnson. So he's on the field often for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I do not think, they didn't play last week, right? I don't think they were off. Yeah. So Johnson is the bare minimum. I looked up some air yards. Johnson had a lot of air yards also. I think we have to admit right now that we are in a position where T.Y. Hilton is not the player anymore that he thought he was. In the last 2 games, Marcus Johnson has 18.8 points and 8.3 points. 103 yards 2 weeks ago. Week 5 against Cleveland, 53 yards. So he scored over 27 DraftKings points in the last 2 weeks, and he didn't get into the end zone. Emil, I like him here for the bare minimum. There's a lot of high-priced stars on this slate. If you're looking to get in Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Derrick Henry, you've got to find value at the wide receiver position. I like Marcus Johnson. For 3 times our investment, we only need 9 points. 4 receptions for 50 yards gets us there. Marcus Johnson is on the field enough that he has those opportunities, and his targets have been 11 targets over the last 2 weeks. For bare minimum price, I'll take that risk, Emil.
Well, even the last game that you were talking about, against Cincinnati, and it is against Cincinnati, it was at home. He had 8 targets, which was one over Zach Pascal, who had so he had the most targets of the team, and caught 5 balls for 108 yards. So I know that was against Cincinnati, but that's $3,000. Nice... Now Pittman supposedly is coming back, but I'm not really sure whether he's actually playing this week or not. I'll have to double check that, but those are some very attractive numbers. Very attractive.
It does. I saw that Pittman's off the IR also, Emil. But how much can a rookie play in his first? I think yes, there's risk. That's why he's bare minimum, right? There's some risk.
I'm a little surprised he's that low. That's very surprising to me.
Yes, because even Denzel Mims of the Jets is 3,200. So, and then I will say this. I was very interested in Chicago wide receiver Darnell Mooney. But then I found out earlier today that Allen Robinson cleared the concussion protocol for the Bears. So it looks like he's going to play. So I pivoted from Darnell Mooney, who I think is 3,400. I pivoted from Mooney to Johnson. But I did like Mooney very much when I thought he was going to play without Allen Robinson. Let me see. Darnell Mooney.
That Mooney is a fast character, isn't he?
He is. 3,500. Yeah, I saw him at Tulane. And if anyone saw him at Tulane did not have a great quarterback. And I wouldn't say they're the most prolific offense. But he's always been a home run hitter. He's obviously exceeded my expectations in the NFL this early. But I do like this player. He's a very interesting player. If Allen Robinson was not going to play, I probably would have had him instead of Marcus Johnson. But I had a pivot once I found out Allen Robinson was playing.
Cool. All right, you ready for the next slide?
Absolutely.
There we are.
Excellent. Everyone, our fantastic 4. And last week, I'm going to start where we left off. On our Contrarian Stack last week, I talked at length about Derek Carr and the Raiders. And more importantly, I talked at length about how well Derek Carr is playing. You can go see the video. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I will mention it. He is playing excellent football right now for the Oakland Raiders. And last week, in our Contrarian Stack, despite having a down game, I don't think Derek Carr played great last week, but he did score. When you look at it against Tampa Bay, he had 20.26 DraftKings points. That's against one of the best defenses in the league. Tampa Bay can be nasty, and they were harassing Derek Carr and those Raiders. After they got the early score, the Raiders really couldn't get it back together, and they lost 45-20. But he is having such a tremendous year. He did throw an interception last week, so his touchdown-interception ratio is 13-2. Still very, very solid. He's thrown for over 1,700 yards. He has scored over 20 DraftKings points 3 weeks in a row, and he scored over 24 of the last 5 weeks. He's playing the Browns, everyone. Let me repeat that. He's playing the Browns. Absolutely love this matchup for Derek Carr. I like there's a lot of running backs we need who are high-priced. There are wide receivers we might be very interested who are pricey. So I think this is a week you can stray from the top, and I wanted to give our followers options at the wide receiver position. How do they want to build their roster lineup at wide receiver? So to me, Derek Carr at 5,500 for a starting quarterback in a good matchup. The Cleveland Browns in the last month are surrendering 21.8 points per game to opposing quarterbacks. They have actually given up 1,319 yards passing. They have given up 4 interceptions. They've taken or grabbed 4 interceptions and 8 touchdowns passing. I think Derek Carr and the Raiders here are going to be able to score on the Browns, even though it's on the road. I like Derek Carr for 5,500. I'm looking at the top of the board, and my friends, Derrick Henry is clearly the guy. But I didn't want to come on here and just give you Derrick Henry. He's in one of my 2 lineups. You can go to Sheet of Knowledge and check it out. Obviously, I like Derrick Henry. But I wanted to give you some other options with Aaron Jones out. And I don't feel great about Alvin Kamara on the road against the Bears on grass. So I said, I started looking at it more and more. Dalvin Cook, it appears that he is going to play. He is listed as questionable, but he was a full participant on Friday. And not a lot of people are talking about Dalvin Cook. Emil, do you have the amount? What is the ownership on Dalvin Cook projected at? I didn't even think about looking at that. What's he at?
Dalvin Cook? Let's take a look. His ownership is 10%. 10.2.
I like that in a cash. I mean, I'm not overly worried. Now, here's a question, Emil. What is Derrick Henry's in a cash game? What's his ownership approximately?
He's tied for first at 24.6.
Wow, so he's more than half. So that's good. So if you're looking for a pivot, I went back. These are the game. In opening week against Green Bay, Dalvin Cook had 21.8 points. He's had 17, 30, 31, and 20. Then he got injured. Then the Vikings had a bye. I like Dalvin Cook a ton in this matchup. I like him because he's the goal line back. He's the pass catching back. He's their 3-down back. Madison was awful last time we saw Minnesota on the field. Now, I think things just happened. The Vikings had a terrible day that week. But Dalvin Cook, if they want to stay in this game, if they want to keep that high-powered Packers offense on the sideline, there's only one way to do it, and that's with Dalvin Cook. He is a little, let's see, Henry is 8,000, Dalvin Cook 7,500. I also like Dalvin Cook in DraftKings because it's a point per reception. Now, Derrick Henry, if he has 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, I don't care about the receptions. I get it. But Dalvin Cook might have a higher floor because he should at least have 4 receptions in this game against the Packers. So he's had 5, 2, 2, 2 receptions, and then 1. Targets, 5, 2, 5, 2, 2. So let's say he gets 3 receptions minimum. I like that here against the Packers. So Derek Carr and Dalvin Cook I'm going to begin with. I like Kareem Hunt again. I know people were a little disappointed. He was in our Fantastic Four lineup last week. But at the end of the day, Kareem Hunt scored 19.2 points. I'll take that in a cash game lineup. He might not have exploded for the 30, but I'll take 19.2 at this salary any day of the week. I just was talking about that Raider game. The Raiders, let me see, against the run. I was looking at them. I think they're pretty kind against the run. You can run on the Raiders. The Raiders are surrendering over 20 points a game to opposing running backs. We also know Cleveland is one of the best run teams in the NFL. And Kareem Hunt, in the last 3 games, he has been targeted 11 times, and he has 8 receptions. I like that. He's also caught 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Hasn't scored a rushing touchdown, but scored 2 receiving touchdowns. I like this combo of Dalvin Cook and Kareem Hunt. look at one of the lineups has these two, the other lineup has Derrick Henry. So either one, but for our Fantastic Four, for all of our followers, I like Cook and Hunt in my backfield. And Emil. Oh, what's Kareem Hunt's ownership, by the way, Emil?
Yeah, I just had that. He is tied with Derrick Henry at 24.6.
So Derrick Henry and Kareem Hunt are the two kind of chalky, everyone's. So that's fine. Look, in cash games, we'll win by differentiating at the receiver, the quarterback, tight end. There's still plenty of ways. And then even if they're owned on 30% of the teams, that's still 70% of the teams that don't have them. And remember, we have to beat 40% of the participants to cash. So I'm okay with that combo. And then it's also how many people are going to have both of them. But let's go to Cook and Kareem Hunt. Those are my Fantastic Four. And I do like Carr. And Nelson Aguilar is playing great. We talked about him last week. But this week I'm going to go to Darren Waller. He is significantly cheaper than the big tight ends. Kittle, Kelsey, Mark Andrews. They're Kittle, 7,000. Kelsey, 6,600. Mark Andrews, 5,800. There's Darren Waller at 5,600. Emil, he averages 15 fantasy points per game. In the last 3 games, 17, 15.8, 16.8. Wildly consistent. In those 3 games, he has been targeted 27 times. 27 targets for a tight end. I'll take that any day of the week. Cleveland's defense is surrendering over 10 points a game in the last month to opposing tight ends, but Darren Waller's the best tight end that they've seen. There is my Fantastic Four: Derek Carr, Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, and Darren Waller. If you look below, the salary of these 4 are much less than I normally provide to our viewers. It is only going to cost you $25,500 on your salary. That leaves you $4,900 per salary for the rest of the players. You can get some big receivers. You still have your defense to save money here. But go ahead. That's our Fantastic Four tonight, everyone.
Great stuff. All right, on to the next view graph.
Everyone, and this is just a show to help you begin your lineup build and construction. But over at Football Diehards, we've got so much good information. You can go to footballdiehards.com right now. We have DFS 3 and Out by Bob Harris. We have The Shadow Knows by Gary Davenport, and The Shadow Knows is about wide receiver, cornerback matchups, who to exploit, who to avoid. Justin Linero, DFS Digging the Crates Daily. My DFS sheet of knowledge is up there. Top value plays, top shelf investment, value plays, who to fade, sample lineups. They're all there for you. And then we have DFS Cash Game and Tournament Breakdown with Kyle Dvorak. Go check those out. They'll help you build your DFS lineups. Also, we have a great optimizer. You can use the optimizer on footballdiehards.com, everyone. Great tools, great articles to help you out.
Yeah, and also it's the rest of the season price now. It's down to $12 for the rest of the season. And, of course, the discount code DIEHARDS gets you 15% off of that. So, hard to beat that.
It's a great deal, my friend.
All right, off to the final slide.
Emil, we always like to do our Contrarian Stack. Last week we had the Raiders. Now Derek Carr was okay, but the stack overall I just did not work out as well as I had hoped. But we know it's a hit and miss, and we're always going to go for stacks that are not popular. This week, went through the numbers. I thought about this a lot, and I decided to attack the Rams at the Dolphins. The over-under is 45.5, Miami plus 3.5. We have a home underdog. With the excitement in the air of Tua Tagovailoa starting at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, it's very interesting play here. We have seen what Joe Burrow has done this year. We have seen what Justin Herbert has done this year. It'd be amazing if we got 3 quarterbacks who are all rookies to perform at that level. Here's my dog, everyone. Come on, Morris, sit down. Just interrupting the show.
Show us the dog.
Morris, sit down. Just wait for Daddy. All right. I like Tua here. He's $5,600. Why I like Tua, Emil, we've talked about this. It's the rushing upside. Tua could easily get 40 yards rushing, easily score a rushing touchdown. We're looking for, in a GPP contrarian stack, a quarterback who has at least 3 total touchdowns in his outcomes. Tua could throw 2 and run for 1. He might throw 3 and run for 1. If we got that type of production in a contrarian GPP with that much salary savings, we're in great shape. Emil, what's the ownership on Tua look like?
1.9%.
Woo!
Pretty low.
That's gorgeous.
Pretty low.
I love it. I absolutely love that type of value. 1.9. And he could have a Joe Burrow day. And remember, he was drafted ahead of Justin Herbert. I mean, I love Tua coming out of Alabama. The concern was the injury. But I had him as a number 2 ranked quarterback coming out. Herbert was my number 3. So I'm willing to take the chance here that Tua shows us that he is an NFL-ready quarterback. And what I need to do is I need to pair him up with pass receivers. Look, Myles Gaskin is too chalk. So I said, I cannot go with Myles Gaskin. So I said, let me go with Mike Gesicki. And I understand that people are disappointed in Gesicki, but Gesicki is an up-and-down tight end. I get it. But when we're looking at GPP, what we are looking for is ceiling. And I went back. Mike Gesicki against Buffalo, week 2, 30 DraftKings points. Emil, that's exactly what we want out of a tight end in a GPP. Emil, what's the ownership on Gesicki look like, by the way?
Gesicki is 3%.
That's awesome. You are looking, and I understand he's wildly inconsistent, but when we are looking at GPP, we are looking for ceiling players, players who can score over 25 points. Now, it will be rare, and Mike Gesicki has only scored 30 once, and he had a 14-point game against San Francisco. But he's also had 6, 8, 2, and 0. So I get it. Against the Jets, he didn't score a point. So I that's probably why he's at 3% owned. But I'm going to take the ceiling there with the young quarterback, and maybe we get lucky with, 7 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. So I like Mike Gesicki there. And then I wanted to save money. So I said, if I'm going to save money, let me look at Preston Williams. 4,300. Again, I like the ceiling. 2 weeks ago against 3 weeks ago now, against San Francisco, he scored 23.5 points on DraftKings. Every other game, he's been below double digits. So there is risk here, but that's what we're doing in GPP. We are trying to look for ceiling players who are not wildly owned, who give us a high ceiling. Preston Williams, 4 receptions, 106 yards, and a touchdown against the 49ers. We have our ceiling. If Williams and Gesicki hit their ceiling, so does Tua. I love that little. We're banking on the Miami passing game. And honestly, I kind of like Myles Gaskin, and I played him a few times. But Myles Gaskin doesn't have 30-point upside. He's not going to get you 25 points. He's the definition of a floor player. He's going to get you 9 points. If he gets in the end zone, you'll get 15. That's what Myles Gaskin is. I don't think he's going to go off for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's not going to happen. So let's invest in the Miami passing game. Let's do it. And if I'm investing in the Miami passing game, I said, who am I going to go with on the other side? When you look at the matchups, cornerbacks to wide receivers, the best matchup, you could argue all Sunday, Cooper Kupp on the inside. I think it's Xavier Howard, if my memory serves me. He is going to eat Howard up for Miami. Cooper Kupp, we know, is a high-ceiling player. We've seen well over 30 points. Now, he hasn't done it this year, but we do know it's in this range of outcomes. Against Buffalo in Week 3, he had 28.7 points. So Cooper Kupp has a very, very good ceiling. The matchup is tremendous. He's 6,500, but I've saved enough money with Tua and Preston Williams. I'm going to go there. So that's our high ceiling wide receiver. So then I had to look over the Rams. Don't love the Robert Woods matchup. I think Josh Reynolds has a ceiling. He's a very nice player in cash games. If he scores a touchdown, you do well. But I don't think he has 30-point upside. I wasn't ready. Tyler Higbee's questionable. Gerald Everett, look, if Gerald goes out and has 25 points, he's better than Cooper Kupp, then I lose my GPP. I accept that. I said the only running back that I can see in this game who has at least 20-point upside is Daryl Henderson. In 3 of the last 6 games, Daryl Henderson has exceeded 20 points. He had 20 points against Philly. He had 22 points against Buffalo. Against Washington, he had 22 points. Now, in the other 3 games of the last 6, he's had 9, 9, and 4. But I'm looking for ceiling. And Daryl Henderson has the ceiling. And when I looked at Malcolm Brown, and I know there's people fascinated with Malcolm Brown, this is his box scores. 11.7, 5.2, 3.4, 10.7, 1.9, 4.7. The ceiling game is against Dallas. Now, he had 26 points, but when we look back, Emil, how bad are the Dallas Cowboys? We thought opening week, the Cowboys are going to be good. Their defense is pretty good. Oh, my God, look at what Malcolm Brown did. Since then, he's been not produced DraftKings points. He also isn't really a pass catcher. In DraftKings, we want pass-catching running backs with real nice upside, and that is Daryl Henderson on the Rams. So there is my GPP Contrarian Stack this week. Everyone, go to our optimizer. If you like this GPP Contrarian Stack, plug in these 5 players. Tell our optimizer you're playing in the GPP contest, and the optimizer will spit out the other 4 players, and it'll give you up to 10 options, and then you have your GPP lineup, everyone. What do you think, Emil?
Yeah, that's pretty good. And Henderson is about 2.9% owned.
Oh.
I think, let me run up here real quick. My dyslexic eyes. Preston Williams is 2.4% owned.
Oh.
Now, of course, Kupp's going to be a little higher. Let me find Kupp here.
Yeah.
Dyslexia. It's a horrible thing. He's at 7.9. He's getting up.
So we're getting, Emil, think about it. We're getting 4 of our 5 players under 5% owned, and we're getting Cooper Kupp at under 10. That's pretty good. That's really good.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup. It's like you said, very tough to figure out the GPP, but this is a nice attempt at pretty good wild card with Tua, because hasn't played a game in the NFL, and we're expecting him to perform.
Absolutely, and look at that. Our salary is over only $27,000 for the remaining 4 positions. You have $5,700, including a defense. So you can go out and get Devontae Adams in this lineup if that's what you want. Yeah. Or you get Derrick Henry in this lineup. The point is, this gives you a lot of options that you can plug in. You can do it yourself, but I recommend the optimizer and see what the optimizer says.
Fascinating. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I like it. It took me a while today. I looked at all the teams. I wasn't going to go see. Look, everyone's going Seattle. We get it, right? And I thought a little bit about Pittsburgh and Baltimore because maybe you get a shootout, but still a defensive. That should be a defensive game, and I think people will be on it. So I wanted low ownership, and I'm like, no one's talking about the Dolphins and the Rams. So that's the one I chose, my friend.
Oh, great stuff. These are exciting. I got to get an early start tomorrow and get some of these lineups in. So bring on the dog. We want to see the dog.
Oh, where did Maura go? Oh, she left. She wants Daddy to walk with her.
Oh,
Laura. Yeah.
Laura?
It's my mother-in-law's maiden name.
Oh, cool.
So that's how we got the name.
Well, next time
Yes.
we'll see the dog, I guess.
Well, she came up to give me a kiss.
Pardon?
Oh, Maura, come here. Come here, Maura. Come here. You want to say hi? Come on up. Come on up, baby.
Come on, get up there, dog.
Come on, Maura. Oh, come on, Maura. Up.
There we are.
There we go.
Ooh, what kind of dog is that again?
There she is. She is a husky, but whoops, am I on the wrong side?
There you go.
She's a husky, but she's from Ecuador, so her color's a lot different.
Wow.
So my mother-in-law brought her in from Ecuador, got the shots, did quarantine, all that, brought her in as a puppy. Cool. But yeah, the color's different than your typical husky, but that's in Ecuador. There's a lot of huskies that color.
How old is the dog?
3.5.
Oh, okay.
Very nice age.
Beautiful.
Yeah, pretty young. She's it's a good age. She's healthy, excited, she's happy. We have an older dog, 10.5. She likes to sleep a lot, but I love her.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Maura wants it's probably her walk time, but that's fine.
Sounds good.
That's why she did.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say before we get on with our lineup setups?
No, just enjoy the games and please join us every Saturday night. And don't forget about our great lineups of shows. Emil, you have 2 or 1 tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah, we have
Brady.
We have Brady and DFS. Final look at DFS Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Same place.
There you go.
And it should be fun.
Excellent.
All right,
so
sir.
enjoy the games, everyone.
Thank you.